Right. Yes, exactly. So thank you so much for your willingness to share your story with us.
Sure.
Just to start, I want to get some demographic questions from you. So could you please share your full name?
My name is Cassandra Sedillo.
And would you mind sharing your age range?
Yeah, I'm 52,
Okay. And then how do you identify racially?
Mexican.
And what's your employment? What do you do
I
for
work
work?
for Deckers, actually. Deckers is, I don't know if you're familiar with Deckers. They own UGG, Teva,
Okay.
Hoka. They're just, they own all those big brands. So
Okay. Great.
I do their order fulfillment
Oh, nice.
and chargebacks and a lot of other stuff. Right here.
Oh, nice. Perfect. And then what is the highest level of education you completed?
I graduated from high school, but I do have a little bit of college, not a whole bunch. It's I'm not a fan of school. I like life learning lessons. It helps.
Yes. I'm right there with you. I have a PhD in education, and I say I educated myself out of my career because
Ah,
there's a difference between education and schooling, right?
book smart and
Yeah,
well,
learning it. Yeah,
it's called street smart, but yeah.
there you go. So would you mind what are some sharing with us what are some of your earliest memories of the neighborhood?
Well, I got to start coming here when I was 5 because my nana and tata, they owned this. They bought this house in 1950. And then later on in the years, my dad added on to it. So we would come here every single summer from Reno to spend the summer with them. And one of my earliest memories that I always tell people all the time is eating watermelon with my tata and just spitting the seeds. Now we have the property next to us where we were spitting the seeds. So I'm surprised there's not watermelons growing. But my tata and I used to sit there and just spit watermelon seeds over the side of the fence and eating watermelons. But yeah, I always felt like this was home and it was always my sanctuary. And that's where I'm now.
That's great. Thank you. I love that image.
Yeah.
And how would you spend your time like when you were around middle school age? What would a typical day look like?
Well, technically, when I was in middle school, I went to my freshman year here in Flagstaff at the Flagstaff Junior High when it was still junior high. But it was great because I was also in a mariachi band with actually Jesse's son, El Charro Cafe. So those years and our time spent here was playing with the other kids in the neighborhood. Honestly, we'd be outside playing hide and go seek, riding bicycles. It was just fun. It was fun as a kid, and I think that's why I always just had thought about it as home and sanctuary. So it was peaceful. It was safe.
Nice. And at what age did you get involved with the mariachi band?
14. I was
And
14 years old.
was it like an expected thing that you would join, or how did you decide to join?
Somebody, to be honest with you, I'm trying to think. Somebody had mentioned it to. It might have been Jesse actually. They had mentioned it to me because I played the violin. I played for about 7 years or so through high school and junior high, and I think they must have. Honestly, I'm not quite for sure, but they had to have been the ones to do it because I think Jesse was already playing trumpet.
Okay, nice. That's
So
great.
yeah,
And
it was amazing.
where would you do performances? Like, was it at neighborhood events or?
We didn't have a lot of neighborhood events here. A lot of times they would book weddings. If I remember right, Prescott, all over the place we would go,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was fun. It was a lot. It was a really good time.
That's great. And so you said you would spend time with the neighborhood kids. Would
Hmm.
you all go to school together and be in the same classes?
Well, no, because I mean, since I was there for in my ninth grade year, I didn't really go to school with them, but that ninth grade year.
Okay.
And so, as far as school wise, no, it was more so just that of around the neighborhood and playing during the summertime.
Yeah. Um, and what about wait, so you were saying you only did ninth grade year, or did you do
Hmm.
later? Okay.
No, just ninth grade. My
Just ninth grade.
we had come out here because my dad was starting to build the addition to the two-story, and Yeah, we ended up being out here my entire ninth grade year. I was so excited after the summertime to be able to stay here for a whole year. And then after my ninth grade year, we went back to Reno
And what was it that made you so excited to spend your time here?
because it was home. It always felt just, you know, I've always enjoyed it here. Even when I was in junior high, I did volleyball. You know, it was fun. I don't know. Flagstaff just always seemed as a place of peace for me.
It's a piece.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah,
The Plaza Vieja, especially that, you know, it's just always just been a sense of peace and comfort, safety.
that's great. That's great. And what were some of the things that like brought the neighborhood together where you would spend time together? And what did that look
Because
like?
all of the parents knew all of the kids. And so it was just like a village, as they always say, it takes a village to raise their kids. And so we knew that if we were going to be doing something that we shouldn't be doing, that our parents or my nana and tata would find out, or somebody would find out, and we'd get in trouble for it. You know, running across the street back and forth to Jesse and Irene's house, going on the other neighbor around the block and the other where the Bustamantes and Gallardos and Orteros and Sepulvedas, everybody just used to know each other. You know, back then. It's a little harder nowadays because you don't really know very many people in the neighborhood. But yeah, it was just a village,
Yeah.
literally.
Did you attend church with folks or did you?
Yeah, well, my nana taught that we sometimes it would just depend. You know, my mom and dad raised us Catholic. Or yeah, we were baptized, confirmation, everything. But then after that, they kind of said, well, it's your choice for your spirituality and how you want to believe in God. And as long as you have your relationship with Him every day, then that's all that matters. So, not so much up here.
Were there like holidays or anything that you would do? Like you would all do the same rituals every year or um
Well, since I was here summer times growing up,
yeah,
not really.
not really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't
Probably
much.
always be outside.
Yeah, we were just always outside. My nana taught that just we were outside all the time. I mean, till late at night. But again, it was that sense of security and safety that we had the ability of being able to be out. You know, things change over the years,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. And I'm going to ask you about those changes in just a moment, but like what, because you mentioned that you lived other places and this just felt home and like a sense of security and it was just a special place. What do you think like contributed to making it so special?
The people.
Okay.
I mean, the people of the neighborhood, like I was saying, and raising a village. You know, everybody felt like family. Everybody just you just had that sense of belonging, like you're supposed to be here. You know. And I think it was more so just for the fact that all of the parents were monitoring the kids and stuff like that. So I mean, I had cousins living up the street. It was just a big melting pot of families that knew each other.
And you always knew someone nearby. If you ever
Oh
needed
yeah,
anything, you knew that you could just go wherever.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great. Um, what are some of the challenges that you think the neighborhood has faced? And how have
Recently,
people addressed those? Well, just yeah, anytime. What are some of
well,
the
I mean,
challenges?
as a kid, I never really noticed any challenges because I got to be a kid. And so those type of responsibilities were not laying on my head at all. As an adult, I just think it's, you know, people change, neighborhoods change, gentrification, you know, you have the speed on clay right here. You know, there's a lot of different types of things that make things change. You know, classify different type of people being in the neighborhood. You know, it's a crazy world. But I think just more so just being able to monitor speed. There's not most of the kids around here are little still.
Hmm.
So they're not really running around outside and you don't hardly hear any of that
Right,
from when we
right.
were kids. So
That's true. Do you remember when the speed on clay changed?
no. Well, I mean, I moved up here 3 years ago
Okay.
when my mom had gotten sick. And I've been up here for about almost 3.5 years. And
Okay.
so noticing it then, yeah. It's because I'm always in my front porch. I have plants out there. I listen to music. I'm always in my front porch, so I have a big view of it all.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that it's that's probably just the hardest part is people paying attention to what's going on around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I take it it was much slower on Clay Avenue when you were young, when you were little.
Yeah, we would be able, it wasn't as busy because like when it would rain as
Mhm.
kids, it's probably highly unsanitary these days, but it would flood down there by the Dairy Queen between Jack in the
Yep.
Box and the Dairy Queen, and we would go run in the puddles. We'd play in the puddles. That's how less of traffic we had, but that's Flagstaff as a whole. We're just tourist town. And with that, we have a lot of different things that come through Clay Avenue. As far as cars, if traffic's built up on Milton, we have traffic. But as a kid, we didn't have to worry about any of that. It was easier. Everything's
Right.
easier when you're a kid.
Right. I lived down the street from you for about 9 years, and
Mhm.
Plaza Vieja has become a place where people mainly cut through to
Yeah.
avoid Milton and 66, right? But
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't like that at all, I take it, when you were a kid. Same
Oh,
streets,
no.
but people weren't cutting through back then.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, not at all. Not at all. It's definitely a way to get through Milton in some instances. And, just the traffic. I wouldn't want my grandkids, I have 5 grandkids. I wouldn't want them to I wouldn't let them to be running out in the streets right there because people usually don't stop at the stop sign. There's always people honking. It's just,
Right.
carelessness. So, from a parent to a grandparent's perspective, I definitely wouldn't allow my kids to be running around the way we used to as kids.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Um, and you mentioned how much the neighborhood has changed, that there were always families all down the street, so you always knew you could stop by. When did that change and how has that changed, do you think? Or maybe if you don't know when it changed, like how different is it now?
Well, just that. I mean, there's more so you either have a lot of the elderly people that are still living here that have been living here all their lives, or you have the college kids, which, is always something else to talk about with the parties and stuff like that. It's I just don't feel that it's as safe as it used to be. I think there needs to be even maybe a little bit more police presence to where people are monitoring and seeing everything. Because multiple times we've had to have people checked while it was cold outside that are laying on the over by the natural grocer. It's just different, but life changes. It's just a matter of being able to have the capabilities and the resources to have presence of different types of things around here. So it's hard. I just have a front row seat to everything.
Right, right. And when you mention like the having access to the resources and different things, like what would you like to see changed about the neighborhood? Like what are some of those changes?
Speed bumps on
Okay.
Clay. Definitely speed bumps on Clay, because I think it'll help also prevent people from trying to take that dip purposely at about 30 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour so they can fly. I think that different, even it would be nice to have neighborhood parties and neighborhood block parties. I would love to do stuff like that because I want to have the capability of having my grandchildren to be able to enjoy this house the way that I got to. And never in a million years did I think that I would be living here.
Yeah.
So, but everything happens for a reason, and I'm grateful and thankful and blessed to be able to be here to have the interview with you, to be
Yeah.
able to help with my dad, even though he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, Abe.
I'm just an IT person. I'm the in-house secretary, is what I tell people on
Right.
the site. Anything electronic, I can help them with.
Yeah.
So,
And
but yeah.
you're like very near to where a lot of the students who typically tend to be sororities or fraternities, you live by a lot of those duplexes. How, like, what kind of challenges does that pose having a lot of students around versus when it was a family, more families?
I don't really find it to be challenging per se. I think that I mean, people, you react to people how you want to in certain circumstances. I'm trying to think of how to word this. Um, I, I don't really find it challenging
Okay.
because kids are going to be kids, and college students are going to be college students. And, if anything, if I lived right next door to them, then yeah, it'd be a little bit more challenging because of the music and the parties and stuff like that. Um, my biggest concern is always just, the kids and the girls. And that's a lot of times why I sit out front, is so that way I can make sure everybody is okay, but I don't know. I don't think it's really a huge challenge, if
Yeah,
anything.
I know what you're saying because the positioning of Plaza Vieja, this is like I lived on Park Street, so that's the street everybody walks down to get to the bars. So you see
Yep, yep,
everyone stumbling in their groups home from
yep,
the bars.
yep, yep. And I
Yes.
mean, if I understand that we have, Flagstaff is a dark city, and lighting is not there because it's considered a dark city. But I think that would be the only challenge, that would be the safety of the kids and the college kids, is lighting. It's kind of why I kind of put more lights out front when I redid the front yard, is
Hmm.
because it's more of a focal point to be able to help, see the way. Because going past our house, it's a lot darker
Yeah.
going up the street. So,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
as far as the kids are never challenging. It's the adults that are challenging.
Yeah. Do you remember any like neighborhood parties when you were younger or like
No, I don't
interesting?
actually.
I was
We were
thinking,
just always
did the
kids.
kids have birthday parties or?
No, not that I
No.
remember during the summertime.
Yeah.
Um, nah, I don't remember it during the summertime. We were just always outside playing, just having a good time,
Yeah.
being
Would
kids.
would you mostly stay in the neighborhood or did you venture out to other places?
No, neighborhood. Well, we did used to go down to, there's a little like warehouse that's right there up off of Clay when you take a left, and then
Hmm.
right there's a little warehouse area. It used to be Rainbow Market was right there.
Oh, okay.
And so as kids, we would ride our bikes. It seemed like a far, far away, but we would ride up our bikes up there and get candy, and because everything was a penny or 5 cents or 10 cents, stuff like that. That was always fun. My dad always talks about how his grandmother used to have a store in the neighborhood. We had, it was, I think, back when I was probably supposed to be born. I think I was just born in the wrong era. It would have had a lot more parties and stuff like that, but mostly it was
So you
just
were kind
kids.
of in between.
Yeah.
Kind of in
Yeah.
between where like the neighborhood was super lively and all the
Yeah.
like cultural gatherings.
Yeah.
Um and where they were kind of forced to stay in the neighborhood, if you will. And then the difference between now where it's the majority of not the families who've been here. There are a handful, you'd say. Um, do you? What do you think made your family stay when so many families have left the neighborhood?
My nana. My
Same
nana,
one.
this was her home. She was here till she almost made 94 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, and she would sit right there on the couch and just, this was her home. After my tata passed away in 84, when there was actually the fire station right there, my nana just stayed here. She continued taking care of us, my Uncle Frankie, my Uncle Bobby, you know, all the way until my mom and dad started taking care of her.
Yeah.
So, but
And
yeah,
just because I know so many developers offer people lots of money for their houses because it's so close to the university. But your family, I
nope.
imagine you've been contacted, but you just weren't
Oh,
willing to.
always. Yeah, we're not, this will stay in the Sedillo name, period. And with me moving up here and me having the Sedillo name, I've been married twice, but I took my Sedillo name back because it's me. That's who I am. And this is where I'm meant to be. And, like I said, I plan to have my grandchildren here to be able to enjoy it, hopefully this summer.
Nice.
And that way, it's going to stay a family home. We've already solidified
That's
forever.
great.
Yeah,
That's great.
thankfully, it's a blessing. It really is because a lot of people don't have that anymore either. So
Do
I'm
you have
thankful.
any idea why, like, a lot of families chose to leave, do you think?
Oh, I couldn't even speak to that. I have no idea.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
great
mean,
that
they
you
may not have been as fortunate in having their grandparents, establish the foundation here and then their dad. There could be so many varying factors on that.
right, right. So many. Are you in contact with any of the the kids that you played with from the neighborhood that aren't in Plaza Vieja
Um,
anymore?
Not really. I mean, just see Jesse. I used to actually. I started seeing him as my optometrist
Oh,
before I moved back up here. But
that's great.
James Gallardo, every now and again, I'll see him and wave. But no, not really. Not really. It was
Yeah,
always a summertime thing.
yeah. What are some things that you would be looking forward to doing with your grandchildren in Plaza Vieja in the summer?
Oh, just barbecuing with the property. My dad and I, we built a barbecue area for myself. I like barbecue. I'm actually barbecuing right now. They're on the
Nice.
smoker. My ribs. Trying to get it started before it started happening. But my uncle Jimmy, when he lived here, I don't know if he just liked pavers a lot, but I redug all the pavers, and that's what I used in the front yard. And then I built me a patio. And so mostly just cooking and listening to music and playing with the kids. We got a basketball hoop out there now,
Nice.
so that way I can play basketball with the kids. But yeah, just enjoying the neighborhood. Anytime my sisters and I would come up here to visit, we wouldn't go anywhere. This is where we would be. We wouldn't go to the bars, we wouldn't go hang out. We would just be here to see my nana and my mom and dad and just do family stuff. This was what we would do.
Yeah.
We like to take them to the park up there.
Yeah.
When they do come up, my grandkids will I'll take them up to the park. I got a couple videos and pictures of two of my older granddaughters. Um, but yeah, just enjoy Flagstaff is beautiful. There's nothing not to like for the most part
Right.
because you can go everywhere and do anything that you want to do. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you were to describe Plaza Vieja to other people who've never heard of it, even though they've been in Flagstaff, what would you tell
most
them?
people don't. They really
I
don't.
know.
Um, uh, that it's just for me, it's just a sense of belonging. You can find to where you can see different. That would be hard to explain because I know I've done it before. Um, you have an experience with wilderness, you have an experience with animals, you have an experience with people. And when I was doing the front yard, everybody that would walk by, they would talk to me or want to give me their opinion on how to do something different. And it can be just that melting pot that we need. You got a grocery store. I'm not too fond of the hotel, but cannot stand that.
Took a
I don't
long
know why.
time to go in too.
Yeah. A long time to go and where?
Oh, the hotel took a long time. It took
Oh
years
God,
for it to
it
be
was
finished from when it
horrible.
started.
It was horrible. It looked like big. It reminded me of a big Kermit the Frog for a little while because it was green and it just had that siding. It would just drive me bananas. But I mean, you have everything. I have everything I need right here. You have a school. If for whatever reason, my grandchildren needed to come up here or my kids, they could go to school right across the street. You have a grocery store, Dairy Queen, Jack in the Box. Everything is here.
Yeah.
So I have no where I need to be. Most times, even the last 3 years that I've lived here, I don't go places. I'll go out every now and again, catch a show at the Orpheum or some kind of event there. But for the most part, I stay home. I enjoy
Yeah.
the what I have.
Yeah. And you would never live in any other neighborhood in Flagstaff, I'm guessing.
No, 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 not at all, not at all.
How
I
is
like
how
my
is
little world.
Plaza Vieja different than those neighborhoods? I know you said belonging and safe, but like I
I
would
don't
say
know.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I can't really speak to that because I've never lived anywhere else other than here and, you know,
Yeah.
my other places before I moved up here. But yeah, I couldn't even speak to that. I don't know
Yeah.
how I would.
I think it's a little bit smaller and the houses seem a little bit closer together.
Yeah.
And older.
Oh yeah, much
Because
older. I
it's the
mean,
first neighborhood. Yeah.
oh yeah, like I said, this front part of the house was built in 1950 when my tata had gotten it, and
Um,
then Dad did the addition, and it was 87, I think, when Dad did the addition. So yeah, I don't know. I really couldn't speak to what the other neighborhoods are like.
yeah.
I could assume, but yeah,
And has Jesse told you about what they're doing with the bricks in that
yeah,
little area across the street from you?
yeah. I'm excited. When
Is
is
there
that going to start getting put in?
I think he said April or May.
Okay,
But is
okay.
there anything else you would like to see in that area too?
Um, I don't know. No, I mean,
Okay.
I like flowers. I like planting things, and so eventually I'm going to get a hold of that wall that we have right there too. So I have plans. I'm gonna my dad now that Dad can see I have the capabilities of landscaping and painting and doing stuff like that. You know, he's a little bit more free on what I'm able to do. So, like I
Yeah.
said, the barbecue area, I created the barbecue area out of all my Uncle Jimmy's pavers the millions of pavers that are here, and then my dad built me an overhang. So over there, I don't know, flowers, more greenage, more foliage.
Would make you want to maybe spend time over there.
Yeah,
Um,
I went over there
yeah.
the other day actually because my Uncle Jimmy's birthday is February 6th.
Oh,
And so since it's his little memorial thing, I just went over and said happy birthday. So it's
that's
nice.
nice.
It's just always a sense of family. So I
Yeah.
think that if we were to be able to start doing more gatherings there, it could be more of a focal point of the neighborhood, but in time, I
Absolutely.
got plenty of time. I'm not going anywhere.
Right. And that's where this project started from because Jesse wanted to kind of revive that as a gathering space
Yeah.
for people to like come together and to learn about the vibrant history of the neighborhood. Um,
Yeah. That was the one thing I remembered before my mom had passed away is I had come up here for a weekend or something. I don't remember what it was. I'd come up here for a weekend and Jesse and Irene, they were over there cleaning the neighborhood and somebody had made some hot dogs. It was fun. It was really nice. Um, and that's actually the last memory I have of my mom over there actually, now that I think about it. But yeah,
yeah, we're gonna have to get Jesse to make more of that happen.
absolutely.
They
And
just
I'm
come together.
always willing to help.
Yeah,
I tell Jesse and them all the time, I'm a capable body. Is that a word? I'm capably
able body. Yeah,
capable
you're
body, able
capable.
body, able
Yeah, there you
body,
go.
able
There
body.
you go.
There it is. And so that's why I like having the ability and the knowledge that my dad's taught me over the years of doing different types of things in landscaping and drywalling and stuff like that. And so
Nice.
I always have the capability of being able to help anybody that they need help with. And that's
That's great.
what I know that I'm supposed to be here for in life. So,
That's great. That's great. Well, I hope you absolutely get to spend time with your grandkids in Plaza Veja
yeah.
and yeah,
Thank-
just spend time in the family neighborhood, the neighborhood that feels like home. I'm glad you're back home.
Me too.
And willing to carry on owning that house and keeping that house as a part of a family that's
Yeah.
been there for generations. Generations.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I'm completely thankful and blessed.
That's great. Are there any last like favorite memories of your grandparents or of that house that you can think of that you'd like to share?
Um, Probably my tata. And I say that because my tata was such a big person in the community. When my tata passed away, it was sudden. It was something. But when he when we had our services with him at Our Lady of Guadalupe,
Mhm.
it was standing room only. You know, people were pouring out of the church. You know, and that's the kind of something that you want to be remembered as. You know, you want people to know that you're a good person, even though if you know are a jerk sometimes, everybody is. But it's just that remembering that when I went to my tata's services was it was just amazing. You know, yeah, my tata, he's the one that started this here, so
Can
I
you
will give him
describe him for
thanks.
us or tell us more about him and his
He
role
was
and
a
what you would do?
my tata. He worked at NAU for many, 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 many years. He loved to cook. He was the night he passed away. He actually had a pot of menudo on the stove, as well as some bread rising because he made phenomenal bread.
Um,
Yeah, and so he did what he wanted to before he passed away. He was just, you know, it was crazy one time. I had gotten sick and he scooped me up and rushed me to the hospital, stuff like that. He was just it was just always that, like I said, safe place. My tata, he was my nana and tata really, because they both took care of 9 grandchildren most of the
oh
time
wow.
during the summer times here. So that's why it's such a big thing for me to be able to want to, be here and have my grandchildren enjoy it as well, is because of my nana and tata. My nana and tata were just amazing people. My nana took care of both of her sons, all the way until they passed away. And my Uncle Jimmy lived here too. So, it's just being able to give back to what my nana and tata started, and my dad and my mom. So
Yeah,
this is anything I do is to honor them, to be
right.
honest.
And your dad has been a part of the neighborhood association for a while. He was always at all the meetings and
They dragged
always,
me with them.
yeah. And I always get the sense that he carries a lot of pride for Plaza Vieja. And I get the sense that you do as well,
Yeah,
to be back home in that neighborhood.
yeah.
Um,
That's why I have a lot of plans for the wall and, more flowers and stuff like that, because I know that our property is the first thing that people see when they drive up the hill. And
yeah.
so I want to be able to make sure that that's, something to look at.
Yeah.
Not just for it's not just, oh, this is what I have or anything like that, because technically it's my dad's.
Right.
I'm just the in-house secretary, like I said. But um I like being able-bodied. Now that I've established that, having the capability of being able to do the wall and the landscaping and stuff like that, I'm excited to be able to do that for him, to help him.
One thing that I used to love that I noticed was changing, and I texted Jesse about it. The colors of the houses were different and vibrant, and now so much of it has been painted gray. I'm like, why do they keep painting everything gray? It used to be like the pinks or the like peaches and purple. I feel like Gloria's house used to be purple. Um, yeah,
Yeah, they're I thought the same. The house up the street, I don't know if they're the apartments or duplexes or whatever they are up there. It's like a dark brown, but I agree. I like
yeah,
our green and our white and
yeah. That's what it made me think of when you said having flowers out there and just bringing the vibrant colors back to the neighborhood.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
And
think
that's
so.
how I am in here, is anything that I do that I change, I try to I could show you one of the little rooms that we used to do. I keep my nana and tata, their essence within the house some way, somehow. Here, does this turn around? I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what this is doing now. Now it did something. We'll get rid of effects. I'll just so this is one of the
Oh,
things that I do is, I have my nana and tata and my uncle Jimmy,
nice.
and this is my workspace. So I'm in here every day, but one of the rooms that I've redone, I am starting to, I don't know if you can see it very well.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great.
And that was my Nana and Tata.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I try to keep a little bit of them. My Uncle Jimmy, I actually think he got that from somebody and my dad framed it for me.
Oh wow. That's
So
great.
yeah,
That's great. Thank
yeah,
you so much for taking your time to chat and just share your story and what Plaza Vieja means to you. I
I
think,
appreciate the opportunity.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully, with these videos, students will have a chance and more people will have a chance to learn about Plaza Vieja. Because as you said, so many people don't even know. And it has such an important history to Flagstaff.
Yeah, it really, from the sawmill, everything. The different stores that have been a natural grocer, Dairy Queen has just been, I worked at Dairy Queen when I was 15. So,
Oh, that's great.
and that was a summertime thing. So,
Did a lot of the neighborhood kids work at Dairy Queen or not
no,
really?
I don't know why. I don't know.
Okay.
When,
Yeah.
after we moved back to Reno and up here, during my sophomore year, actually, that's when I worked at Dairy Queen, was for that summer.
That's great.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It's great that you get to be back. Well, thank you
I
so
agree.
much. And I look forward to meeting you sometime. Hopefully, when the bricks go in, we'll get a chance to meet each other.
Absolutely. Are you still up here? You still moving up here,
No,
living up? Um,
no, I was at the corner of Tucson and Park for 9 years, like right
yeah,
across the street from the Bacas. Um,
yeah, I remember
next to
that.
Jesse's old house, yeah. But
Mhm.
no, there were plans to turn that house into an Airbnb. So I don't know what he's gonna end up doing with it or not. So
Oh,
yeah. That's why I ended up moving because he wanted to make it an
oh,
Airbnb. So yeah, it's sad.
oh,
I loved it for 9 years. I love the neighborhood, but I'm glad that we get to do this
yeah.
project
Oh,
as different things as the hands or as the houses change hands in Plaza Vieja. At least we can keep the memories, right?
right.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you need anything, just let me know.
Okay, thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks. You too. Bye bye.
Bye.